And so these leaders are exploiting that democratic gap, that legitimacy gap, to be able to play these two sides against each other.
When I tell people that the West involvement in Africa hasn't benefited the Africans or Africa, people say, no, don't talk like that. A lot of people have benefited. You now know how to speak English, and you now can use spoon and fork to eat. That is a whole big thing that they've done for you guys. And I'm like, really? Really? So all they could be proud of, all they could boast of is Africans being able to speak English or French, or Africans now have to use spoon and fork to eat. This is so low. So there's this video I want you guys to watch, okay? And when we come back, you shall hear my take on this whole thing. So watch.
Russia, if you could talk about that, Russia now being the largest exporter of military weapons to Africa.
Again, it's a fracture that exists in many African societies between the citizens of the country and the governments that rule them. 8 years, there have been serious efforts to suppress democracy, to suppress freedom, to suppress rights. And within that fracture, it's the dependence on Western governments to prop up these regimes that kind of keeps them in place, that allows them to remain and to impose themselves on the people. And that creates a legitimacy gap that Russia has been very able to exploit, because there isn't that ability to put pressure on these governments. There's no domestic pressure that can be put on Paul Biya, for example, because the opposition has stopped to exist in all but name. There is an ongoing conflict that he has been able to sort of paper over in the public consciousness. There hasn't even been, the same kind of multilateral response to the conflict in Anglophone regions of Cameroon that we've seen in other conflicts, including in Ukraine, even though the scale of death is significant, the scale of violence is significant. And so these leaders are exploiting that democratic gap, that legitimacy gap, to be able to play these two sides against each other.
I have to say this with all honesty. The West intervention or the West involvement in Africa has benefited them far more than it has benefited us, the Africans. They came to Africa with the pretense that they wanted us to have full democracy. They wanted us, the African people, to be able to exercise our freedom of speech and freedom of expression, to be able to speak freely, to be able to have a free and fair election. But let me ask you this question, and I'm being honest about it, and I want you guys to give me an honest answer. Honestly, which country in Africa can boast of a full-fledged democracy? Or not even full-fledged, of a half democracy? Which country in Africa has rule of law? Which country in Africa has freedom of speech and freedom of expression? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know any country in Africa that you think uphold all these principles. Educate me. Because from my own observation, I have clearly seen that the West in Africa no good. What they have done in Africa is put puppet leaders in place who had or has no love for the country and for the people. And they have allowed the West to exploit and loot the countries. They have not done anything for their people. And that is why Africa is the way it is. And I know whenever I say this, many people come to the comment section to hit back at me, and they will say stuff like this. You shouldn't blame the West, blame your leaders. You shouldn't blame the West, blame yourself. You guys are corrupt. You guys are lazy. You guys cannot stand up for yourselves. And that is why your leaders are doing what they are doing. To that, I have to say, there is some truth in it. In terms of corruption, African leaders are super corrupt. But we must not forget to ask this honest question. Who is corrupting them? Who is giving them all the money? Who is bribing them? And where are they hiding all this bribe money? Where are they hiding all the money that they have looted from the people? Where are they hiding it? And what has the West done to discourage corrupt African leaders from hiding their ill-gotten wealth in their countries? Many African leaders, those super corrupt ones, have a lot of assets and properties in the West. They have many bank accounts, allegedly. And what has the West done to discourage this kind of behavior? Nothing. When has the West ever spoken against a leader when they can get whatever they want? When that leader or when that African leader allows them to get whatever they want, to take whatever they want from the country, they don't say anything. They kept quiet and allowed these authoritarian leaders to be in power. They don't want democracy in Africa. They don't want rule of law in Africa. They don't even care if the African people can freely exercise their freedom of speech and expression. They don't care. As long as they can get what they want from Africa, they are good and fine. I have said it before, and I will say it again. The West in Africa, no good. No good. They are there for themselves. They are there for Africa resources. They are there to exploit the continent. We Africans must realize this. We the people must realize this. We the people must start speaking out against things like this, must start calling them out. The only way we can have any meaningful change in Africa is when we Africans, we the youth of Africa, realize that we have to do something. It doesn't matter what you do, just do something. Call them out. Denounce them. And I understand that many Africans are still with the notion that the West is the savior, that the West will come to our aid in case we have problems, that the West is the one that is going to put things in order in Africa. I cannot blame them. I cannot blame you if you are one of those people with this kind of mindset. I cannot blame you because I used to be like you. I used to have the same thoughts. I used to cherish them. I used to envy them. I used to look up to the West. But when I started learning about what they've done in Africa and what they keep on doing in Africa, then I realized that it's high time that we start looking up for ourselves. That we and only we, the Africans, will fix Africa. No one will do it for us. No one. Africans must wake up. Africans must do good by themselves. Africans must realize that only us really care about us. Nobody, believe me, nobody does except us. And if anything were to change in Africa, we will be the one to do it. Nobody is going to do it. No one. So to you guys out there, what do you think about this video? Do you really think that the West has done so much for Africa? Or the West has given so much to Africa than they've collected? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because little bit of goodwill, like the one you are doing just now, help us a lot. And we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.